Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all here to the Hope Lawn Fire Company as we dedicate a sign in memory of the late, great Bruce Turcotte, who passed away fighting a fire in Woodbridge Township several years ago. There's several elected officials here I'd like to introduce. Middlesex County Freeholder from Woodbridge, Charlie Kenny. Your Commissioner right here in Hope Lawn, Bob Gillespie. Council people Brian Small, Lisbeth DeJesus, Greg Ficara, your local councilman here, Rick Delina, State Senator Joe Vitale, State Assemblyman Craig Coughlin, and Councilman Corey Spiller. Our first two speakers are the kind of men you want having represent you in Trenton. Craig and Joe in the Assembly and the Senate sponsored the legislation to have this sign. You have to do that. You can't just go around putting signs all over the state. They had to actually go through a process of making that official. And I'll tell you, when Bruce first passed and Janet went to try to get his benefits and was getting the runaround from the state, amazingly, they didn't want to give benefits to somebody who actually died in the line of duty. It was State Senator Joe Vitale who pushed and pushed and pushed and made sure that happened, along with Craig on the Assembly side, going through Treasury, going through the governor's office, doing everything they possibly could. These two men are who we want representing us in Trenton. So I'd like to introduce, in no particular order, State Senator Joe Vitale and Assemblyman Craig Coughlin.
Thank you, Mayor. And first, thank the Mayor and the Council for really helping with this process all along and today, and also raising the funds. You know, state funds did not pay for the sign that's being erected and unveiled. That's actually apparently at the same time we're doing this program. So to that and the sponsors, we really deserve a ton of credit. I remember that conversation with the governor's office, and I spoke with his chief of staff. This was a long time ago when Janet contacted me, and they were, so when I was on the phone with him, he actually Googled Bruce's his passing and the events surrounding it, and he got back on the phone. And he said, "I can't believe you're getting a hard time with this process and the pension." So they did their due diligence, they did their work, and I don't always agree with the governor on a whole ton of things, but they stepped up and did the right thing for the family, and they should get credit for that as well. Today is, and I can't, I knew Bruce, and every day the firefighters of this district and around the state put their lives on the line, and sometimes we take that for granted. We just assume that when the bell rings or the fire starts that someone will be there, and you are there, and you make our community safer, you make it a better place, and Bruce really embodied that. He, I'm sure, missed a lot of family dinners with his dedication, volunteering here at night, during the day, on weekends, on special holidays, and his passing was a real tragedy for not certainly his family, but also for this community and what he stood for. So we're hoping that this sign is a small token of that acknowledgement, that recognition, that people from Fords and Caseby and Hope Lawn and Perth Amboy who pass that sign every day will understand and maybe give a little tip of the cap to Bruce, and through that, through all the work that you do and the sacrifices that you make each and every day to be on the job, be away from your families, and to keep us safe. So to Bruce and Janet and the family, we are grateful to be here today and to be part of this dedication, acknowledging Bruce's great sacrifice to this community and all that he meant to all of us. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It is a real privilege to be here today to share in this dedication and to commemorate the sacrifice and the lifelong commitment to the community of Bruce. We had the idea of dedicating a portion of the roadway to him because this is a tradition that we have in Woodbridge, right? We dedicate things to heroes all the time, and Bruce is nothing less than that, a hero. I think all of us remember how incredibly moving his funeral was. I mean, it felt like the roof was lifting off Our Lady of Peace that day, and fittingly so. I don't think there was a dry eye in the house as everybody remembered his great commitment and his sacrifice. So it turns out, of course, that this is a state road, and you can't just name a piece of it for somebody. We had to get some legislation passed, and in typical Trenton fashion, something as easy and as unanimously supported. Ultimately, the bill was unanimously supported in both houses. It only took us about 8 months, but we got it done. And on January 19th this year, it was signed into law, and we were able to make this dedication today. Now, I didn't know Bruce personally, but I know a lot of guys like him. A lot of fellows who are here today. People like my dad, who was a volunteer fireman for decades. People who care about their community in a way that most people don't. People who are willing to give themselves and recognize that they're part of something bigger and more important than what matters to them on a day-to-day basis. And so we're all fortunate, and it is really a fitting and great honor to be able to be here to dedicate this sign and to have everyone who drives past the roads that Bruce protected for so long. I guess he's affectionately known as the Mayor of Hope Lawn, right, Janet? So that'll be the Mayor of Hope Lawn section of the highway, and we can all think about him and think, for those of you who knew him personally, we'll have warm thoughts. For those of us who didn't know him personally, we'll always remember a true Woodbridge hero. So it's a privilege to be with you today to celebrate his life and to make this dedication, and thank you for letting me be a small part of it. Thank you.
I'd now like to introduce a guy who probably knew Bruce better than anybody up here because his dad was a fireman in Fords and longtime councilman, freeholder, and Rick's been a councilman for, this is his 23rd, about to be his 24th year. So I'd like to now ask Rick Delina to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want everybody to take notice. You know this must be a really special day, special dedication when Senator Joe Vitale comes up so well dressed today. Look at that. Give him a hand. He looks good. It's only good to be here because these are my friends, family. Janet and Bruce go back a long way. Not only was Bruce a dedicated fireman, but he was also a dedicated family member. He lives right behind. He used to live behind my mom, and Jen still lives over there. And my father and Bruce were really good friends. It was always fun when they were together at events. The stories that they used to tell had everybody laughing, and they always made it fun. And like I said, Bruce was a great guy. And, you know, by the way, the sign is going to be out, in case people, I'm sure everybody realizes over here, 184, which is actually West Pond Road, over by Mama Lena's. That's where the sign's going to be. So it's only fitting when people come into Hope Lawn, whether they're coming from Perth Amboy or wherever they're coming from, when they come into Hope Lawn, they're going to see that sign and know that Bruce Turcotte was a great man, a great family person, and a great fireman. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. A couple other officials I want to introduce. Our Deputy Police Chief Joe Niski, our Head of Emergency Management Pat Kenny, from our Board of Education Dan Harris, and Frankie Della Pietro. So thanks for all being here. And now a commissioner from Hope Lawn here, a guy very active in our town, and a guy who, again, knows Bruce probably more than many people or most people here. I'd like to ask Bob Gillespie if he'll say a few words.
Yes, when Brian called me up the other day and he said to me, would I like to say a few words for Bruce, I was very touched about that. I know Bruce for 30 years. First of all, I'd like to thank family and friends for being here. Bruce was a very dedicated person. He loved doing his job. He was like that old commercial, Shell Answer Man. You needed anything to know about fire company, he would call it. If he didn't know it, you'd give him a call later on, and he would Google it, and he'd say I'd have the answer. I like to thank my firefighting friends from Hope Lawn and from all the other districts. Also, too, I like to thank all the public officials that made this happen. Without them, I like to give them a round of applause. Also, too, you know, even though he's gone, he's always in everybody's heart. I believe in that, and he's looking down on us right now, and, you know, you might get a little tickle in your ear because it might be him. Just to let you know, I want you to remember one thing. When we walk out of here today, I know a lot of us he'll always be in our heart, but if you look at the monument outside and you look at his picture is smiling down on us. And I believe this, he's smiling down on us right now. Okay, so please, everybody remember that. I want to thank you, and I want to thank the Turcotte family for letting me speak on behalf of the fire company and myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob. Charlie Kenny's a career firefighter, probably knew Bruce also for many, many years through that role as current Middlesex County freeholder. Would you like to say a few words, Charlie?
I'm just going to repeat what everybody else has said. I've been around the fire service now in the township for 30-plus years, and when I think about the Hope Lawn Fire Department, I think of Bruce Turcotte. Bruce Turcotte was the Hope Lawn Fire Department. Whenever you asked a question or were looking for something, Bruce Turcotte was here and he was around. And so it's very fitting that we do this today. But I also want to commend the Assemblyman, the Senator, and the Mayor. A lot of times when tragedy strikes, you'll see the politicians around at the beginning, in the beginning when everybody is there, and then they sort of fade into the background. They stuck with the family, they worked very hard to get this done, and they deserve a lot of credit for being there even when the cameras go away. So thank you, and thank you to the family, and thank you to Bruce.
Okay, no, Janet's here. I know Brian, Michael, and Catherine are here. I don't know who is going to say a few words. Brian, is that you or is that... Oh, Michael, okay.
Thank you, everyone. On behalf of the family, I really appreciate the turnout today. Couldn't be, as someone said, a more fitting day. Sun is shining, and that's really my dad shining. As one of the politicians had said that, the sign was ultimately approved legislation on January 19th. For those who don't know, that's the date my dad passed. So I kind of think of that as a little sign of goodwill, if you will, and as much as there was delays in Trenton, I think it ultimately worked out for the best. So I really appreciate, not only the family, the friends, my extended family here, our extended family in the fire service, and all emergency services, frankly. You guys have been phenomenal throughout. Everyone behind me, everyone, aside and watching this on TV. You guys have been great, and my family's been really appreciative of the support, and I don't think we could have really kind of had this day, frankly, without all of you and all your love and your support. And so I thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of my family's heart, and I would just say, look, say a prayer every time you go out the door, every time your loved one that's in the emergency services goes out the door. You never know when it's their last day. And so we thank everyone here very much for your never-ending support and dedication, not only to our family, but to all the families that you guys protect and serve every day. Thank you.
Johnny, would you like to come up and unveil the sign? Catherine, Michael, want to come up again? Brian? All right.
Thank you all very much. It's beautiful. And hopefully I'll be able to get out on the road and be at the actual sign, even though it's a busy road. But I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming out.